Welcome back to JT on the Go. This is part 7 of my 8-part series about the Disney Treasure. If you missed parts 1 through 6, check them out. Because of the rough oceans in part 6, we are behind schedule. We were supposed to be right outside Castaway Cay when we woke up. We are going to visit the Cove Cafe and Bar on deck 13F, or the ship's adult section. We've checked it out on the Disney Wish, but I want to show you guys something about this cafe. There is a pool that overlooks the back of the ship. Here's the cafe right here. It looks very cozy. They sometimes put prints of Disney characters on your coffee if you want it. We're dining at the Marceline Market for breakfast once again. Today, they changed their menu slightly. For breakfast this time, I chose Mickey Churro waffles. This morning was the only morning on the cruise they had them. They tasted just like churros. I went back to get a few more before I got stuffed. The Marceline Market does serve alcoholic drinks. It's hard to see, but that island in the distance is Castaway Cay. I had enough time to work out in Senses Fitness one last time. Once we leave Castaway Cay, we're heading back to Port Canaveral. If you are in the front, you may feel vibrations from the thrusters when the vessel is maneuvering to dock at port. We were supposed to ride on kayaks today, but because of the rough seas, the cruise line canceled it. Fun fact, Disney has a second island called Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. It opened on June 7th, 2024. Our cruise did not stop there. It just stopped at Castaway Cay, but I'm curious to see what Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point is like on a different cruise. I hear it's unprotected, a big advantage for Castaway Cay. I remember we came here on the Disney Wish and did the Pelican Plunge water slide. This time, we will be biking around the island. To get to the bike rentals, we have to take the tram to the same stop you would get off at when heading to the Pelican Plunge and Cookies 2 barbecue. On this whole trip, we were absolutely lucky with the weather. March of 2025 was a great time to do this. The tram ride to Pelican Plunge takes about 5 to 7 minutes. We arrived at Pelican Plunge. Here is where you would rent a bike, or you can reserve in advance. If you are traveling to Serenity Bay, which is an adult-only beach, you would have to switch trams at the station we got off at, the Cookies 2 stop. The tram ride from Pelican Plunge to Serenity Bay takes 5 to 10 minutes. You can also choose to walk, which takes about 10 to 20 minutes. Or you can just bike there, like we're doing. Some people do jog on these roads or run the Castaway Cay 5K. Many of the bike trails break off from this runway. The name of Castaway Cay was Gorda Cay when the island was first being developed. There were multiple shipwrecks that happened near the island and they left real treasure behind. A businessman named Alvin Tucker, who had lived in the Bahamas, had plans for the island to build a runway for his own private plane. Before Disney came to the island, there were no villages, but the island was used for farming. The reason why Disney picked this island is because of the 2 beaches that make swimming very enjoyable, and its close proximity to Port Canaveral and the Miami-Dade area. To build the cruise port, Disney had to make the waters where the treasure is docked deep, and build the port on the side. They even built a wall of rocks to protect the beach from the strong waves. The 2,400-foot runway was configured into the path that connected the 2 beaches and the bike trails that we will be traveling on. At this dead end of the path, you get a view of the coast. Now it's time to head to lunch by Serenity Bay. In order to use the barbecue at Serenity Bay, you have to be 18 or over. If not, then you would have to eat at either Cookies Barbecue or Cookies 2. For lunch, I had a hot dog. You also have to be 18 or over to visit the Serenity Bay beach. To get a Serenity Bay cabana, it is very difficult, even if you are platinum status. Concierge cruisers get first shot at these. The bathrooms are over there. Disney also parked a plane with Donald Duck in the trees as a prop. Though this runway looks active, it's not used to bring in employees. All of the employees for the island arrive by Disney cruise ships that dock at the island. Some employees do live on neighboring islands and commute to and from the island via transportation provided by Disney. About 100 Disney employees actually live on the island. We're heading to the observation tower. While heading there, we will talk about safe biking. When biking, always yield the right-of-way to motorized vehicles because they travel faster. When passing pedestrians or slower bikers, always pass on the left. For bikers, it's important to tell those on foot you're passing. We are at the observation tower. We are going to climb the tower before calling it a day. Man, we are far from the Disney treasure. The land around the tower looks a little swampy. Most of the island was left untouched by the time Disney took control of it. When you get close to the observation tower, the directions are going to split up into a loop. Another thing I realized is that biking across the island was a good workout, though the island is flat and not hilly. The reason why Disney created their own cruise line was to diversify its revenue streams, expand its brand reach, and offer unique vacation experiences. As you can see, they put this island on the map by showing it as a tropical island in the Bahamian family. If you choose to bike at Castaway Cay, I recommend doing the complete round trip. Here's our tram waiting to take us back to the ship. When the ship blasts its horn, that signals the final tram before it leaves. The skies looked just like this when I saw the Disney Wish from this angle. The Disney treasure is preparing to take us back to Port Canaveral, Florida. But of course, it's time to hear the Disney treasure ship horns. Let's see what this ship is made of this time. Some of the Disney cast members stay on the island just to say goodbye to all of the cruise passengers. Castaway Cay is 723 kilometers or 450 miles from Port Canaveral. The journey takes around 7 hours and 53 minutes. Castaway Cay is also 196 miles east of the Miami-Dade area. Like I said before, we're now returning to Port Canaveral, Florida. While it's the saddest part of the cruise, it shows that time flies when you are having fun. Here's something I wanted to see this whole cruise. That is Deck 6 at the very front of the ship. They had this place blocked off the entire cruise, and I don't know why, but here we are. This is a reason why I like the Disney Wish Class Trio. What we see at the top is the bridge, where the captain spends most of his or her time. They also navigate the ship from there. I'm the king of the world! No, this is not Titanic, but it's still a great view. This level does overlook Senses Spa. I've spotted several ships passing us after they all left Port Canaveral. While we were in Castaway Cay, the Disney Wish was in Port Canaveral. Now it has left. Keeping the ship on course is a big job. Another fact, the nameplate on the side of Disney ships is designed to light up at night. It's kind of getting cold out here because of the strong winds and the sun is going down. Here's another great look at the Grand Atrium, the last time we'll see it at night. For our last dinner, we are at Plaza de Coco. This time, we are going to have a show and it will be more about Day of the Dead a bit. We got a seat right next to the stage in the middle of the restaurant. Day of the Dead is a holiday celebrated on November 1st and November 2nd every year, right after Halloween. The purpose of this holiday is to remember. It's a joyful celebration of the memory of deceased friends and loved ones. For Coco the movie, it was about Miguel proving his talent in music despite his family's ban on music. Many parts of the movie do resemble Day of the Dead, and during the making of the movie, they learned about Day of the Dead and what some small details represent. They just took those details and made them reality, even though Coco is fiction. Day of the Dead can be called Dia de Muertos in Spanish. The holiday is primarily celebrated in Mexico, along with countries like Guatemala, Ecuador, El Salvador, and the Philippines. For Mexico, it's part of their culture. Not hard to guess what I'm eating for dinner. For an appetizer, I got the Caesar salad. For my last main course, I chose the steak. And for dessert, I went with churros because I love churros. Just like that, day 7 is complete. Tomorrow, we will be back at Port Canaveral. Stay tuned for the next and last part.